I lied yesterday. Today, in another attempt to break down the simply absurd amount of footage I have accumulated while building my spaceship, I have prepared for you a look at the designs that failed. The first is this thing. The idea was to make it look like an evolved version of another spaceship I had made. Before I began trying to style it, I'd say it was working pretty well. It started with the aiming platform that I tried incorporating into this small ship that I had been making for a different purpose that fell short. Regardless though, that turned out pretty well and looked like this. Due to the nature of the aiming system, it needed quite a bit of space to have a free range of motion, so the core of the ship was structurally not very sound. To compensate for this, I placed some shields. Okay, that was maybe a bit of an understatement. So far, I'm still happy with where this is going, and so I keep on building. I add this altitude sensor based hover system that compares the sensor's output to a target number in an accumulator. I'll probably revisit that concept in a new spaceship, although I doubt it'd be perfect considering that in the space map, gravity is typically always down, but altitude still measures from the center of an atmosphere, and in some places it goes below zero, which in normal maps would mean underwater, so a lot of conditions would have to be created for edge cases like that, but for now, let's get back to the ship. I have since begun with the styling, and I'm going for something that sort of looks like an evolved version of a ship I had already made. It was called the Infinity and had an ancient turret system that I developed before aiming servers existed, and it used number keys to activate an array of turrets all over the hull that used the arrow keys to move. I was pretty proud of it then, and had even made a video. Comparatively, the quality is a lot worse than what I put out now, so if you're interested to see my progress, be that in my hardware, my personality, or my building skill, I'll leave that in the description. As for this spaceship though, I still hadn't encoded the turrets at this point, and had I known that it was that complicated, I would have done it first, which is what I did for my third attempt. But I hadn't thought that far ahead at this point, and am blissfully unaware of the suffering that is to come, so I'm just incorporating simple turrets along the body of the ship. At some point though, I decide that I'm happy with my handiwork so far and go to eat something, and that's where the recording ends. Before I continue, I'd like to quickly pause the video and humbly ask you to like and subscribe. I'm currently on my way to 3,000 subscribers as of the time that I'm making this video, and my current end goal is to reach 10,000 by the time I turn 20 in April of next year. It's very ambitious, and some might even consider it to be outlandish or perhaps even too far-fetched, but looking at the current growth I've seen so far, I think it's more than possible, but I can't do it alone. Subscribers, after all, means you guys. I can't subscribe to myself 10,000 times, can I? If I could, I'd have done it already, and I'd do it way more than 10,000 times. But anyway, if, and only if, you genuinely like my content and think more people should be blessed with my presence, leave a like under this video and subscribe. It costs you nothing but means the world to me. But I'll spare you from listening to my shameless plug any longer. Let's get back to the video. After returning to this design to finish it, I apparently thought it was ugly as hell, and looking back at it, I agree. So I try again with a different design. This time I try to replicate this ship that I found on the internet a couple of months ago. The image's file name is called Cadillac ship, so I assume that's what it's called, and just by looking at it, I can see where that came from. It was created by a fella that goes by the name of Ken LeBras. I don't know if the S is silent, I'm just gonna roll with it. And he has a multitude of other works scattered across the web. My favorite ones were those that I found on his Instagram though. This so-called Cadillac ship was among my favorites, and I knew that I'm only going to be able to execute that design once, so I wanted to do it justice, and for a while I did. It was looking great, and it did so for a very long time, until eventually I got to the middle section. The cylinders that the reference had looked bigger than what I was capable of placing, which meant I had been building at a scale slightly too big. No bother, I thought. I'm just using it as a heavy inspiration after all. I'm not making a replica. But then I left build mode. As it turns out, in making my shuttle from No Man's Sky, which, mind you, still works flawlessly even at the edge of the space map, which is infamously bad for complex world group abominations, I got too confident with my glitches. Not a single block merging or off-grid building technique that I used on the ship so far was working, and from experience building ships far larger and more complex, I knew that it was only going to get worse, so I stopped and spent an entire week making normal videos trying to keep my mind off the disappointment that was this project, until one day it was finally time for me to finish what I started. Stay tuned to see my build process.